This room had become the dumping ground for everything, and honestly, it was one of the most embarrassing parts of our house. The problem was, this room is one of the first things people see when they walk into our home, and after more than 30 years, it showed. We decided it was finally time to do something about it, and this is that story. At first, we thought maybe we'd hire the floor out, but after getting quotes of nearly $3,500 just for the tile alone, we decided to take a gamble on ourselves. So instead of spending a fortune, we started hunting Facebook Marketplace, and somehow we found exactly what we needed. My wife came up with this custom mosaic design that completely transformed the floor, and honestly, it became one of the most unique parts of the whole room.
I really wanted a custom hexagon tile entry mat in the mudroom. It's customized. It's meaning the Wilmington house, which was my grandparents' house. So we're trying to honor the investment that they made years and years ago. I was quoted about $1,800 to $2,000 to have a custom hexagon mosaic tile mat. And then that also included the rest of the mudroom tile. On Facebook Marketplace, found someone getting rid of these tiles for $75. We got a whole bunch of the tiles. So what I'm trying to do is design the entryway mat. And we wanted to do a W for Wilmington, which was my grandparents. And then they bought the house in 1972. So the whole mudroom is gonna look like this, except for the mat. And we've got this tile edging that will edge the mat, so it'll differentiate it from the rest of the floor.
When you say mat, it's not like a rubberized mat.
No. It's tile. It's just a custom. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've done is taken out all the black tiles, and we're using that for the lettering. We're gonna go back in with these white tiles and fill in all the gaps.
So while Jennifer put in the hours upon hours to build the mat and get the tiles laid out, I started to prep the room for paint. Fill in some cracks where we had a little water seepage, both inside and outside the wall. Tape up everything.
That's hot.
And paint away. Also one of my least favorite things to do. I had laid tile before in an extensive bathroom remodel, and it was a nightmare. To say the least, I had PTSD just at the thought of doing it again. It's a skill that I just have never mastered, but it was time to put my head down and do it again. Again, in the interest of saving money, we were running low on the tile pieces, so the section you see up there that's all white without the black spots in it, that will not be seen because that's going to be covered up with our bench, which we'll get into here in just a minute. But it was just made sense to try to utilize every bit that we possibly could before we had to go buy more. And I think we did have to go buy 2 boxes. There were definitely moments we questioned the decision. Okay, maybe a lot of moments. But slowly it started coming together. The next problem was storage. This room had no real system. New cabinetry would have cost thousands of dollars. Or if we went the cheap route, something like IKEA, you're just not going to have the durability that's supposed to last for 30 years that you really need in a room like this. So once again, Facebook Marketplace saved us. What most people saw was old junk. We saw potential. All it needed was a little work. The plan was take these 2 pieces we purchased on Marketplace, refurbish them, fresh coat of paint, and tie the room together. But the piece that means the most to me started as a pecan tree in our backyard. About a year ago, I milled this slab and set it aside waiting for the right project. Turns out, this was it. There's something special about turning a tree from your own property into a part of your home.
Big smile, a funny face.
Now, I'll tell you that this sort of a build is almost took me 2 days to get this bench, or this portion of the bench done. Flattening and basically, creating a flat slab out of a kiln dried piece of wood does take a lot of work. And so this is a very abbreviated version of that. If you'd like to see a full tutorial of how I did this, it's a little more extensive and a little more explanation of what I'm doing with every step. Let me know, and maybe I'll do a whole video on it. I've done quite a few woodworking videos and love to do more. So if you'd like to see that, just let me know and we'll put it up. Pecan slabs aren't terribly expensive. The trick is finding them. There aren't a lot of people that do it. It's a very hard wood. It's a cousin of the hickory, so it's extremely hard wood. And obviously this one's a sentimental piece and was important to us. So you're probably looking at anywhere from $50 to $150 for the slab. To have it finished out would probably be another $100. And then the custom bench that I'm building as a carpenter, it probably took me 3.5, 4 hours, total to get it done. And I'm using remnant scraps, kind of like this cedar piece here, to trim it out. That might be another $200 or $300. So I'm saving myself a considerable amount of money. Now, I'm not ignorant to the fact that I have a full shop and I am a woodworker and I have access to these things. But here again, if you're resourceful and have an idea where to look for these things, you can find them and you can save yourself a ton of money. And then a lot of it's just sweat equity after that. A lot of that cost is labor if you have somebody else do it. If you do it yourself, find a makerspace and get that thing cut up and build. I pretty much designed this from a sketch on a pad and went from there. Just want to encourage people to look around. You don't have to buy the most finished, polished piece ever to work. And we're going to pair this with a plywood locker that we found on Facebook Marketplace. So, it's a matter of putting the time and effort in, and you can get really professional, top quality looks just with a little sweat equity.
I'm not in love, guys. Come on. Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be the bench that goes under the window, and we got it for $50. So we're going to, it's
Probably too much.
way too much. They did a great job with their photos of making it look okay. So we got it. It's going to work. We ordered the hardware. And here's what I'd like to do with it. I'd like to obviously sand it. We're going to paint it. Remove this. I don't even understand this. This, I want to do some fluting or reeded wood here and on the sides, because you will see the sides slightly, but it doesn't have to be high-end fluting or reeded wood because it's going to be painted. Like I said, we ordered the hardware. Got to shore it up a little. But yeah, and then a couple little cubbies that'll basically be just stored dog stuff, stuff for the cars, whatever. Just something we could hide. But I think it'll be good.
Now there's cute and there's adorable, and that's Jennifer. This was something that I thought, this is her vision, this particular bench, so I'm going to turn it over to her and let her record her refurbishment. And I'll step in later and help out a little bit, of course. But she is hilarious and never moved the camera once, so just enjoy this for the commentary.
Ugh. It's going to look great. What I don't know is if we want to add a trim at the top or the bottom. That's also why I wear my uncle's overalls. First of all, I wish I was a master carpenter like he is, but also I love the overalls, all the pockets. You can get dusty and painty, doesn't matter. For this thing to be so terribly built, these two nails are in quite well. We're still gonna probably have to cut some off the bottom because it's cattywampus. Oh, Gary von Lichtenstein wants out. Come on, little guy. Not going in, I don't understand. Another reason I want to be a carpenter, ever since I was little and I would go with my granddad to where he worked at Woodard Builder's Supply, because he would always have square pencils and we could take the square pencil, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I love square pencils. Oh, I forgot to glue it. Dadgummit. Things were going too good to be true. Lost my coffee. Found my coffee. He's grouting, he's almost finished. He's done a phenomenal job while I did absolutely nothing. So please give him a like, thumbs up, subscribe. Nice, perfect.
Now, while we're having fun, and this may seem like I'm making fun of Jennifer, I'm really not. It's this is learning to do woodwork and refurbishment. It takes a lot of hemming and hawing. It takes a lot of time to sit and think about these things. Yes, she's using a masonry hammer for finished work. This is a hard thing to do, but it's not impossible. And the more you do it, the better you get, and the more tools you have in your bag, so to speak, and that's knowledge. The better you get at this sort of thing. So she learned a ton here. She's already pretty knowledgeable. She's obviously got a great eye for design. And so I'm going to step in here and help out, trim out the last bits. But at the same time, this is totally a joint effort. And I dare say I probably wouldn't have moved too much more quickly on this, because this is what we lovingly refer to as hodgepodge, and just trying to make something better out of something that's probably not the highest quality. With the right amount of trim, some higher quality plywood, this thing's going to tune right up, and it turns out wonderful. Here I'm using a little edge banding, and it's something you put on the edges of plywood to give them a finished look. If you paint plywood on the edge, it will definitely show through. I'll do this on both this piece and the bench and the lockers that you'll see here in just a minute, and I'll show you how I do that. Fairly simple process, just requires an iron and a hot gun, and it gives you a much more polished, finished look. Not to mention, it also improves the durability of the piece and stability overall. I'll quickly mention that the paint scheme we chose was based on the school that Jennifer went to. Her parents were founders, and our kids graduated from there, and it's something we're particularly proud of. So we felt like part of our story was putting those colors to use in this mudroom. So you can tell here, this is a plywood locker slash cubby sort of thing. It probably belongs in a child's room or something like that, but it was just exactly the right dimensions we had for that space that it's going to sit in. You know, I said earlier we didn't want to go with anything cheap, and this is actually a good build plywood system. Definitely did a little evaluation when we picked it up before we paid for it, and it suited the build just fine. Again, it was exactly the right dimensions for the bench that we're building. The other thing that I'll note is, painting. One of these hand painters is invaluable, and I actually need to upgrade this one. This is just about had it, and so we'll do that here, and I'll leave a link to the one that I'm going to get. Painting these things really does give them a new look and feel, and not everything needs to be stained and finished. Sometimes painting is what gives you the ability to bring a room together. And you can see that blue really pops against the brown finish that we put on the bench itself. And so super happy with that. Of course, you have to coordinate these things and try to get them to tune up correctly. That takes a good designer's eye. So Jennifer and my daughter Claire put this together just, from sketches and a lookbook, and started mixing and matching. And eventually, between the hardware and things like this light that all matches, it really brings the room together. And all of a sudden, we are starting to assemble the mudroom as it'll be finished out. So one thing to also note is that this room has a slope to it because it's a mud room, so it's designed to slope away from the house so water can run away. And so putting in this bench, I needed to get some leveling feet, and just, $12 at Home Depot got me 6 leveling feet. I used 3, and then I bolted that thing to the wall. As we add in the finishing touches and get ready for the final reveal, I'm going to throw up the costs of what we put into this room. Obviously, it doesn't account for labor because it's our own labor, so that's what we call sweat equity. But I'll give you an idea of what we paid for just about everything, and you can get an idea of what we spent on it. I'll also throw out what I would estimate this would cost if we had subbed it out and hired people to do that for us. Hopefully that'll give you an idea what we spent on it, what we saved, and maybe you can apply some of these to your own projects. And suddenly, this wasn't just a catch-all room anymore. It became a space that actually felt intentional. Fresh paint, better storage, custom flooring. And this room was completely transformed. It's hard to believe this was the same room. What used to be one of the worst parts of our house is now one of our favorite spaces. Makes it even more meaningful. Not bad for a room we avoided for so many years. If you enjoy woodworking, DIY renovation, and building with what you have, not what you can buy, consider subscribing. We've got a lot more projects coming.